Flame on! How's everybody doing tonight? I'm here with my special guest, Nick Lenz. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Kind of a late stream tonight, scheduling issues and all, but better late than ever.
And hope I don't fall asleep like I did last time we did one of these things. That was by accident.
Hopefully, hope.
I have plenty to drink. I have plenty of soda to drink, so I'm going to stay awake this whole time. So don't worry about that.
All right, I don't have a solicit. Oh, here it is. All right, and before we start, please like, comment, subscribe. And Nick, anything you want to announce or say before we get started on the solicitations?
Uh, just I have more videos basically coming. Probably tomorrow, lots of anime. Um, one of them we have been discussing the Apothecary Diaries, which I know season 2 is airing right now, but I'm not going to watch it right now because once I finish the current season, I'm going back to watching Comrade Riki, and then I'm going to go back to the season when I go back for my next Tokusatsu series. So let's see what comes out in the month of July. Oh, it looks like that Dan Jorgen's coming back to Superman. I'm like, that's awesome. Oh, did you see that Power Girl end after 20 issues?
Apparently.
Yes. From what I heard, apparently people didn't like the Power Girl title. I didn't think it was terrible. I just don't know, like, what people thought the book was like. Like, I saw someone's reaction to it where basically we have Power Girl wearing her jacket, basically have her back to the camera, and she's like, "Buy me, fanboy," and the guy's like, "No, thank you." I'm like, so what was actually wrong with the Power Girl book? I have no idea. It wasn't necessarily a terrible book. It's just that I know Tivia didn't like it because basically she called herself Paige instead of Karen, but that's not much to explain. It's a different name.
Yeah, it doesn't really change anything. Then you had the whole super jackets. It's just the Power Girl series. I'm not going to say it's bad, but I'm not going to say it was great either. And what's up, Tevia?
I think the Power Girl. I think the Power Jacket thing. I think that was something Phil like Kenny Johnson started. But you notice, right after the Action Comics, all that stopped.
Yes, we also know August solicitations are likely out by now, but this ended up coming late due to scheduling conflicts.
Yep.
But we'll probably plan August solicitations probably towards the latter end of the month, if not early June.
Yes.
Depending.
Yeah, and this stuff comes out in 2 months, not 3 months like usual.
All right.
Superman.
And now we're going to start with the summer of Superman. Probably Italian for James Gunn's DC James Gunn's Superman release, starting with the Treasury edition of.
Did you read the special that came out for the start of this off? But it was really good. I enjoyed the special. Did you read it?
It was good. I did. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah, and I'm like if it's more than the suit movie, I'm like, not a bad idea to do this. Did you see the new trailer that came out for the Suit Man?
I did.
Yeah, it's interesting. I appreciate the fact we got a full look at Mr. Terrific this time instead of just, like chest up like we did before the last trailer. I think that artwork on the right, I think that's Dan Jurgens.
I believe so as well.
On the right, left, I'm not sure who that one is. On the left, that one there, the one with the heroes, that kind of looks like. I think it could be John Temps, maybe, who did the anime universe comics. I think that might be him. I'm not sure.
All right, what's up, Najee? Welcome to the show.
Yep. Yeah, it's weird. Lobo is kind of part of Superman's Rogues Gallery. Oh my god! It's Suit Boy Prime. Ooh, I'll kill the death. Famous line from Countdown.
Probably the only saving grace of Countdown, but come on, memeable storyline aside, the character got a decent redemption and send off in Death Metal, so you got to give him that.
Yes, and the only reason why the art was confusing the way it was, according to Dan DiDio, because everyone working on the artwork for that book was all from a studio in Spain. Because I asked about that because I figured he would know about it because according to him, I did ask because the story I heard is that it was all his idea. Countdown. According to him, no, this was pitched to him. And the whole thing of him saying, like him paying Countdown, because I basically went cards with him, yeah, that was all a lie. So I made that up. And this is according to Dan Dio. So I'm inclined to believe him. And he also, like, I did ask him about Chuck Dixon being fired from Robin and Batman the Outsiders. According to him, he had nothing to do with that. That was not his department. That was somebody else who did that.
Yeah, editorial's always been a bit of a mess.
Yep.
But
and let's take a look at this. Legends collide. Superman Man of Steel goes supersized for the DC Summer of Superman in this all-new Treasury edition, reminiscent of the size and scale of DC's classic tabloid comic books. Quintessential Superman, Dan Jurgens. I agree with that. He's just no, he's one of the best Superman creators of all time. Pairs what demonstrates Bruno Bernardo, who came up with a really good run on Nightwing.
Yep.
And Andrea Lucas to craft a larger life story of power, tragedy, action, and above all, hope. When a virtuous vicious armada of extraterrestrial launches all invasion, where only Superman can stand in the way of total annihilation. But something different with this attack. It's deadly, but both without and within. This Titanic tale can be controlled in the Treasury size, whatever the number is, to celebrate Superman style. To celebrate the Summer of Superman style. This must-have one-shot features main cover by Ronaldo and will feature images from highly anticipated movie from DC's more pictures with variant cover by Dan Jurgens, Sunny Friends and Foes cover by Scott Kublish. Okay. That's who did it. I'm like, good artist. He's really good.
Now is this next one a Superboy comic like Smallville or
possibly? Yeah, it looks like Superboy. Looks like possibly like Clark Kent as a teenager. I love the artwork. It's fantastic. Action Comics 1088.
I got this.
Mark Waid
started this. 1088 takes D.
Go ahead.
Action Comics 1088 takes DC's Boy of Steel to Smallville High. Writer Mark Waid and artist Skylar Patridge continue the evolution of the Boy of Steel into Protector of Metropolis and Earth's greatest hero. A lot can change in a summer, especially for Clark Kent, aka Superboy. After a disastrous debut in Metropolis, the Kents are worried that the world is not ready for their son and will do whatever it takes to protect him. Little do they know, they're about to send him into one of the most terrifying places on the planet, Smallville High. Action Comics 1088 features a main cover by Ryan Sook and variants by series artists Patridge, Leonardo Romero, and Carl Kurtzl. Apologies.
His return to the book after doing that weekly story from last year.
Supergirl, issue number 3. Likely to build up momentum for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow later this year.
Yes, I did hear Tom King was working on that movie for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I don't know when it's coming out. I have no idea. I've not heard what the release date for that movie is. But he did confirm to me he is working on that movie because it's based on his comic, which was really good. Oh, so the Campbell writes this. I know people have mixed feelings about her run for TMNT. I don't think necessarily she's a bad writer per se. It's just that I think she just has some weird ideas about some stuff. What do you think?
Definitely weird ideas.
Yeah. Though people think that she put a lot of woke agenda stuff in the TMNT book when she wrote it. I read it, and my biggest issue with the book was basically like No Casey Jones a lot of the book. I mean, Casey Jones is supposed to feature in the book. Like, you read the book, like, during her, like, is Casey dead? Where the heck is Casey? Because the first half of the run, no Casey Jones at all. And then he shows up, like, half of the run.
And for some reason, they don't like him. Like, I mean, Casey's a pretty cool dude. He's a good foil to Raph. He's April's main love interest. I mean, Casey does play a role.
Yeah, I don't get why. Or the whole thing of, like, this Mutant Town thing, which was weird. Like, why do we need a Mutant Town thing? Or the fact that Jenka, the female turtle, where she is out as a lesbian and dating a pig girl. I thought that was weird.
To be fair, they've been trying to make a fifth in girl turtle work since Next Mutation. You have to be fair.
Yes, and they finally brought in Venus, and she is nothing like the live action character. One thing, she's like a patchwork turtle compared to Jenka, who kind of fits Venus's role. Except she's really human before she became a turtle, which how she became a turtle was weird because she got blood transfusion from one of the turtles and then she became a turtle. Which I'm like, wait a minute. Did the writers rip up Savage Dragon with that? Because that also happened with Savage Dragon as well. Though in there, basically people exploded when they got blood transfusion. Debuts Satan Girl.
Writer-artist Sophie Campbell gives readers the team-up they never saw coming. In this series featuring an all-new Maiden of Might, Supergirl and the daughter of Lex Luthor, Lena, have come together to battle a common enemy posing as Midvale's very own Supergirl. Will Lena's brains and Kara's brawn be a match for the superpowered super genius from Kandor? It's Supergirl versus Supergirl in the fight of the ages. Plus, the debut of Saturn Girl.
I think it's Satan Girl, not Saturn Girl.
Oh, Saturn Girl. Okay.
Yes.
In addition to interior art, Campbell provides the main and variant covers with Stanley Arjun Lau, Hamare, and Joelle Jones.
Yes. Now, I think this book is sort of revisiting, is kind of doing a little bit of like style of Silver Age, because her book originally was set in Midville back in the Silver Age. This is sort of a nod to it, but doesn't have the Silver Age goofiness. Plus, Lena Luthor was, I think she was, actually it was Lex's sister who was a supporting character in that book. And a lot of the time when she was in the book, Lex is basically trying to be in the book, trying to make sure she's a criminal like he did. And fun fact, Lena Luthor, Lex's daughter, is named after his sister.
Yep. Wait, did we ever find out who Lena Luthor's mom is? Like the daughter?
Yes. And it was established in House of Brainiac. This was a pre-Flash Flood character. A woman who apparently doesn't age, apparently. Somebody who Lex knew he was a kid. And her name was Contessa. They got married in the 90s. And, then she started acting weird when she was pregnant. So Lex is basically trying to do this weird thing where it's because he basically only wanted his daughter to love him, not his wife. So it's like he's putting drugs into his wife, not to hurt the baby per se, just to hurt the mother. And then as soon as she gives birth, shove her to some mental hospital because Lex is basically very obsessive with his daughter only loving him. This affection and mother's love. And then she apparently died via some Lex launching a missile on an island she was on, and he's like, "Oh, I just got word my divorce is finalized." And this happened in a Secret Origins book for Superman. That's how they killed off Lex's wife. Now people tend to think, "Oh, did Lex and Lois in the comics get married?" No.
Outside of one Elseworld story.
Yeah. Someone else's story, but in main continuity, they mentioned they previously dated, but nope, they never married. Krypto, the last dog of Krypton. Not surprised they gave him a book because he's featured in the movie.
So I'm not surprised by that. I mean, pretty weird for Jimmy Olsen to be featured as in a variant cover, since or at least in my opinion. Or is that Jimmy Olsen? Or is that just a random redheaded kid?
That could be Jimmy.
Yeah, because at
Black,
first glance that looks like Jimmy.
yes, but I know who does his artwork. That's Jay Lee. But a little fun fact: this movie basically the crypto appears in the super movie. This, I believe, is the first live action appearance of the actual Crypto the Superdog. Because yes, he was kind of featured in Smallville, but it wasn't. It was just a nod. They haven't officially called him Crypto in the show, but
Titan.
yeah, I think they're on Titan, but they never had a dog called Crypto in the show. They suggested calling that, but nope, not really.
Wait, didn't the Titan show call him Crypto, or did he go by another name?
Probably different. I haven't watched the Titan TV shows, sadly, but the one that featured in the movie, that seemed like the actual one from the comics. And I love the fact he's got a cape too.
With a live action Titan show, you're really not missing much. It's just edginess for this. It's just 2010s edginess, and it just falls into a crater by the time you get to season 3. Season 2 is the best, but best out of the 4. But even then, that's not by much.
And somehow the show got involved with the Infinite Earths crossover from the Arrowverse.
It did get a cameo, or at least a version of it did before it got wiped.
I think it's implied it came back, but it's like something else. So the writer of this book is Ryan North, as in the writer of Fantastic Four. The current writer of Fantastic Four writes this comic. I just reviewed basically the most recent. They came up with Fantastic Four, and it featured. I thought it was playing weird, but I've now deemed it the worst issue of this whole run. Issue 25. You've read that issue?
Not yet, but I wouldn't be surprised.
It's the issue where Johnny Storm basically spends time with an alien said to be woman.
Thank God I left Marvel Comics.
And I'm like, who the heck greenlit this thing? Like, couldn't someone tell Ryan North, hey, can we actually have Johnny Storm be with a woman who actually looks kind of human, not a freaking bug?
I mean, were they going for an LGBT thing, or Johnny being a horn dog, he'll chat with anybody? I mean, or was it just played up for shock value?
Horn dog. And there's one moment where the girl says, "Oh, Johnny."
And yes, to an extent, Johnny is a horn dog. I mean, he literally, the one chance the Fantastic Four had a chance to end their beef with Doom, and all Johnny had to do was make it through the ceremony.
Instead, he slept with the bride.
And Doom got him back in arguably the most egregious way possible. Filtered his skin to where he's a constant inferno, to the point that even his tear ducts burnt out. Wait, how did that get resolved? Did Johnny directly apologize, or did it just wear off when the arc was over?
He actually more like Virtuous basically apologized, and she had to wear a mask for a brief period of time, and then by the time Dr. Doom currently is now Sorcerer Supreme, she is allowed not longer wear the mask anymore. Because Doom was like, I don't want to see your face again. Because when he looks at her, it's like, oh, the woman who cheated on me. And I'm kind of like, so she works for him? And I'm like, did she fall for him at some point? Because even this 4 comic, it's like barely there. But the thing is, you gotta kind of have to read the Doctor Doom comic and understand this whole relationship between him and Virtuous. Because Dan Slott didn't bother to explain it all. Because he probably assumed people read Doctor Doom. This is not the first time he did this, where he assumes everybody reads everything. He did the same thing when Spider-Man 29 randomly, when he showed up in Superior Spider-Man. He assumed everybody knew who he is. But good thing Peter David actually about to explain who the heck he is in the first issue of the revived Spider-Man 29 book in, I think it was like 2015, I think it was. Actually, it was 2014. All right, this book.
Back to this. Back to this though.
I mean,
Lex
this looks
Luthor.
interesting. Go ahead.
Lex Luthor meets Crypto, and Crypto, the last dog of Krypton, issue number 2. As if he doesn't have enough to worry about. Krypton's last dog is about to meet one of Superman's most infamous foes in this issue, from writer Ryan North and artist Mike Norton. Crypto, the last dog of Krypton, has landed on an alien world called Earth after his shuttle tests went catastrophically wrong. Crypto wanders into a city, scared and hurt, but this lost dog has found someone to take care of him. A young man, troubled, unkind, but ambitious. Crypto just wants to be loved, but that may not be something this boy, Lex Luthor, is capable of. Jay Lee provides the main cover, with variant by Rafael de la Torre. Okay, so that's supposed to be Kid Lex. This is supposed to be Kid Lex, and I'm just like,
Well, he has had red hair before. Before he went bald, he was a redhead.
true, but I usually prefer the origin of Luthor where he's a self-made businessman, but ultimately gets corrupted by the lifestyle. That's basically become the titular origin of Luthor, because anything prior to that is just Luthor being petty.
Well, the whole thing being businessman, that was actually established by John Byrne.
Arguably one of the good things about that run.
Which hopefully we're going to cover that for Comic Play soon.
Okay, and now we're back. Okay, and Superman Unlimited. Okay, so
Yeah,
they're doing
This is the Dan Slott book.
Superman Unlimited issue number 3. You would think this be an anthology series.
But no, it seems like
Superman just helping people.
Yeah.
Hold on, the website's lagging on me. Technical difficulties. While we're waiting, that, ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing tonight?
Yeah, Karen Bailey is like, I get what rich self-made, like self-made, are born rich.
Namor was laughing. Okay, tying back to Ryan North. Yeah. Namor is usually an asshole in just about every depiction of him. But this is one of the few times, like, hey, Johnny kind of had this one coming. So,
yeah, and here's the weird thing about this run, Fantastic Four. In this whole book, one thing I noticed though, no Namor. Not in the entire volume. Not a single appearance by him.
That's right. Namor didn't appear that much in that run. Only a couple of times.
I think he did appear for Dan Slott stuff, but not for Ryan North's.
No, not for Ryan North's mainline stuff. If it was something Dan Slott, a tie-in, a cameo sprinkled here and there, but if it was a main issue where Ryan was credited, no, Namor did not appear.
I don't know why. And it's like you read the book, and it's like, aside from Doctor Doom, have we had this forever taken any of their main villains in the whole book? Not really. In the 33 years this book has been out, I don't think we thought one of their villains, aside from Doom. I'm like, I get the fact you have little sci-fi stuff, fine. But how about fighting for one of their villains besides Doom? They have more than one villain. Oh, it's about Toyman, this issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Unleashes the terror of Toyman. Writer Dan Slott and artist Raphael Albuquerque. Interesting duo of this one. I did not expect these two to work together.
Very interesting.
Yes. Continue the story of Superman facing a world filled with kryptonite when the towering terror of Toyman once again menaces to steal streets of Metropolis. Superman and Krypto are on hand to save the day, but this new world of kryptonite, even Toyman's murderous mechanisms, are supercharged with Superman's Achilles heel and this twisted turn of events as Man of Steel uncovers the game-changing new use of this deadly substance It has the capacity to save the world? All this, plus interesting changes to Daily Planet staff, and the scourge of intergame flooding the streets of Metropolis. Series artist provides the main cover and a Gotham City Cyrus variant cover. This was from Leonard Francis Yu, Robin Zombie, Hickenbottom, Tony S. Daniel, Ryan Ben, and Christian Ward. Like,
Oh God!
did not lower away from Leonard Francis Yu from Marvel because this guy was a damn good artist. I think he lowered away from Marvel because I'm like, why? Why would you lower away a damn good artist like him? I mean, Christian Ward, Tony S. Daniel worked there for years, but Leonard Francis Yu is a great artist. Why the heck is he at DC for? This makes no freaking sense. And now we have a Superman book.
Hold on, this main article. Okay, this Bleeding Cool article is only prioritizing the summer of Superman stuff. Hold on, let me just find another article. While we're waiting on that, I'm just gonna try to find a main one here. Give me just one moment, folks. For some reason,
Yeah, it's like all the main Superman titles. And one thing I didn't know some of these books, no price tags. Did you notice that?
I have. But I feel like what I ended up with was just the promotional article for the Superman titles. It didn't really give the price.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a solicit out there.
Okay. Sorry for that misconfusion, folks.
Yeah, I did see about this new Justice League Red book. Did you hear about this one? That this apparently is going to be like a new comic. Interesting premise. This book. It's Justice League's Black Ops team led by Red Tornado, and the premise is the founders must not know about this team. I'm like, interesting.
Yeah, speaking of Dr. Doom, have you guys
read it in the past month for the One Wonder Doom? I haven't read the last issue I think was issue 3 or 4. I've not read the recent stuff. It came out, sadly. I'm a little behind.
I get trying to prop Doom up, especially with the Fox acquisition last year. I get it. But this was not the time. I mean, Doom barely had any real momentum.
I thought Fox was acquired in 2020.
Yeah, but you need at least a year for the acquisition to go through, and then you have to wait at least a year for any real projects to come out even after the acquisition. Officially,
there was a Doom comic published when Dan Slott wrote Fantastic Four. This was back in 2018, I think it was. This book came out.
One World Under Doom or the Ryan North run?
No, there was Doc Doom's ongoing book.
Okay, it started back in 2018. I thought it got relaunched.
The book only lasts 10 issues and ended. And it was about Christopher Chantwell, the guy who wrote that really good one for Iron Man. The one where they featured on the entire run, all covers by Alex Ross. And like most of the book is Iron Man versus Karvak.
Okay, now we can get to the solicitation proper.
Okay. Yeah, this looks like a proper one. Let's see here.
Absolute Superman issue number 9.
What is up with that costume? He changed it?
In the Absolute Universe, apparently the Eradicator or the AI is actually woven into a suit.
Because it looks a little different than it originally appeared. Did you notice that? It looks a little different. This design reminds me a lot of the original New 52 Superman's costume.
It does, just minus the collar.
Yeah, I've heard that costume did not receive that good reception. People like the Batman costume, but not Superman. People hated the new Superman costume. I thought it was awful. Like, why do you need armor for? He's the Man of Steel. Why do we need armor for? Right?
Right.
And in March, apparently, this comic actually hit the top 10.
Yeah, the Absolute Universe definitely Say what you will about the quality of the books, but at least from a profit stamp, at least from a business standpoint, excuse me, it's definitely hitting the numbers.
Hmm. Like I think like Batman came with that month #1 in the main Batman book. And I think like all the rest of the episodes basically took up a lot of the spots. And Wonder Woman Doom took up like #8. I mean that shows me we were interested in Wonder Woman Doom. And apparently I went to this comic shop this week where I talked to someone about Green Lantern. Apparently people are not really interested in the current Green Lantern core book.
Really?
Yes. I don't know why. I mean, it's the first new Green Lantern core release book in 10 years. Yeah, it's been 10 years. And no one's interested. Like, it's not the biggest seller right now for some weird reason. Not sure why.
You sure? Because didn't we get a Green Lantern run just recently?
The Green Lantern core.
Oh, okay. Green Lantern
Well,
Corps.
Yeah, that apparently is not so. That's not very very popular right now for some reason. I read the first couple issues. It seems interesting, but I'm like, okay, yeah, I got a message, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Written by Jason Aaron, art and cover by Rafa Sadoval, variants by Lyrics and Gerald Perel, Jeff Sparks, and Jeff Spokes. Apologies if I butchered that. 32 pages, $4.99. Variants, $5.99. On sale July 2nd. Wait,
Ooh.
are they setting up the Omega Legion already?
Yeah, and Superman looks like he's a leader. It's just me, or that helmet reminds me of Does that remind you of Futures and Superman with that helmet?
Yeah, this could go. Yeah. There are some similarities. I'm not going to outright compare it to Future's End just yet, because Future's End was just edgy tripe from beginning to end. I mean, there was no redeeming qualities about that storyline. It didn't really impact. It didn't really impact the wider landscape of the titles at the time, but it definitely didn't contribute anything either.
One thing that I think a lot of people can agree on when it comes to the book, it's got really good artwork.
Oh yes, definitely. Nick, you want to take this one?
The mysterious Omega Men have chased Superman around the world, determined to plead their case. The only with this help, by unleashing the full scale of his terrifying power, they can put into the Lazarus Corporation. With burning with his heart, Cal is starting to listen. I think I was reading the comic. I think the Lazarus Corporation is controlled by Ra's al Ghul. Well, this world's version of Ra's al Ghul, which is interesting. Oh, yes. Now, I have messaged Kelly Thompson about that tattoo, and she told me this, that will be explained in the comic. When? Don't know. Because that's a question I've had since the book, since the first image of Absolute Wonder came out. Where the heck did you get this tattoo from?
And surprisingly, Absolute Wonder Woman is the best out of the Absolute titles, apparently.
This might think how weird Absolute Batman is.
Now, Absolute Batman is a close second, but people are really engaging with Absolute Wonder Woman a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably by far Kelly Thompson's probably the most successful book she's done recently, ever since she wrapped up run for Captain Marvel. She did run for Deadpool. That only lasted 10 issues.
Wait, Kelly Thompson did a run on Deadpool?
Yes. She did it right after, I think it was Scotty Young did his run. It was the run where Deadpool was the king of Staten Island, and the whole thing was controlled by monsters.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That lasted for a very short period of time, and then here's the weird thing: next was Deadpool. That was never mentioned again.
Nope.
I'm like, is it just me, or is was Marvel embarrassed by that run? Because I've never heard any book mention that. It's like the run that came after Ballista 1, that gets referenced. But Kelly Thompson? Nope. How did Deadpool lose power? Never explained.
Because it wasn't good.
It was interesting. Heck, they featured Jeff the Shark in the book. You know,
Yeah, I get Jeff the Land Shark, but wait, where did he debut? Jeff the Land Shark. I feel
and
like he
Gwenpool's book
wait. Okay,
because he's Gwenpool's pet.
okay.
Gwenpool dropped out of the book because her joke is every book he pops up again keeps getting canceled, and that book got canceled with the final issue as a tie into King in Black, as I think it was like the only title that ended with King in Black. Everything else continued no problem. Better got relaunched, but it wasn't, let's say, ended, like stopped publishing afterwards.
I got you. Written by Kelly Thompson, art and cover by Hayden Sherman, variants by Chris Anka, Mahmoud Asar, apology if I butchered that, and Mateus Manhani.
$4.99 for 32 pages. I'm like,
Which it's not bad, but it's decent.
yeah, I would probably charge $3.99 for that much, not full, not $5. It just a bit much. I get the fact the book is selling well, but DC Comics, can you please lower the price on your titles? It's probably a bit much for some people. There was one issue where apparently one of them had a strip, but not their underwear. No, don't worry about that. She's basically took off all her weapons in front of Hades, who is now like the one that Brian has when I came up where he's got candles on his head. Oh, this looks like a thing. When Diana seeks is the maze seems to indulge her at every turn, and things around her. She finds out, question everything for a mission. Meanwhile, in Gateway City, an old obligation raised his head violently. That was a short solicit. Oh, is that Steve Trevor?
No, Absolute Green Lantern.
Oh, okay. If that's Steve Trevor, the only person I can think would look like that, I think it might be Hal.
Which, funny enough, is actually a Joe Mullen focused comic. I mean,
Yes.
and I have nothing against the character. Far Sector was pretty decent for a self-contained comic, so I definitely wanted to see more of her. But a lot of the marketing is
It's not written by the writer of that book. I don't think she's writing it.
no, not the same writer. This is Al Ewing, but Al Ewing is definitely highlighting Hal becoming Parallax, at least from what I'm interpreting.
Mm-hmm.
And he's using that as the big selling point. I feel like he's trying to do what essentially the '90s did for breaking out Kyle Rayner when Hal went bad.
Mm-hmm. I think as of right now, because they just ended Immortal Thor, I think this is one of two comics he's working on, the other being All New Venom.
And I left Marvel, but I will go ahead and address this. I'm not a fan of Paul. If you wanted Peter to move on from MJ, fine, but why drag Paul into the mix? This is just because it's pure spite. It's just to rage bait the fans and give it a couple of years, and Paul is either going to be shelved or killed off. But you'd be surprised by the amount of hate Paul gets. I mean, Paul's existence is just a random act of pettiness by Spider-Man's editorial. Let's be honest.
All because Nick Spencer dare lead them for Substack.
I mean, that's the only reason this exists. That is literally the only
My advice, Marvel, get over it. He left you because basically you wouldn't pay him properly. And it will be his friends. I really like some of Marvel's content, but not Marvel's editors. Half of them are idiots. Especially Nick Lowe. He's the worst. I think it was like last month, Rob Liefeld was calling him to be fired, along with Steve Sabelski and Dan Buckley. You hear about that?
I heard about that scandal.
Yeah. And I'm like, I agree. Get rid of these guys. They're not helping Marvel at all. Basically, they're trying to kill Marvel. Were you surprised to hear about... Yes. They're that petty about the expense leaving them.
Which, to be fair, I'm not surprised he dumped them for Substack when this contract wrapped up. I was not surprised.
Yeah, given the fact the man received also some death threats over the whole Hydra stuff.
Say what you will about Hydra Cap, but that was just post 2016 candor. That was just how the Marvel editorial was at the time. Nick Spencer did, at least for that one. I'm not going to say Nick Spencer deserved the ire he got for that. At least not for Hydra Cap specifically.
Yeah,
Now,
and the bad thing about it, they did close to Jack Kirby's 100th birthday,
which is just as distasteful. Well, it wouldn't be the first time Marvel was pissed someone left them and made a comic to spite them.
As far as I could tell, DC doesn't do that. I could think of.
No. Well, DC does do things to give their creatives a bad time, or someone leaves them on bad terms. Like not Cheddick, Beechin. What happened with Beechin in that situation? He got through it. He got a chance to redeem himself. But Beechin with I don't know if it was Titans East, but it was a more anti-hero Titans branch off team with Deathstroke. I forget the exact name. But bless you, Nick. But Beechin was so pissed off about it, he practically left the industry after that.
And a Beechin?
Yes.
I heard he got flack for making Cassandra Cain a villain.
He did when after Raish was killed off, and not the Iron Maiden. I forget the exact storyline. Raish was killed off. Cassandra was brainwashed and written to replace to de facto take over the League of Assassins.
And that happened in Robin Wanted.
Thank you, Robin Wanted.
The 1 year story.
His 1 year later story post Infinite Crisis. Thank you. And yeah, it was not well received, but Beechin did get a chance to redeem himself in the Teen Titans book, but I forget which
And then
one.
he did one more Batgirl book to basically conclude it. And sadly, that book was the last time I saw David King until he popped up in Batman Robert Turtle.
Oh, that's right. Beechin did come back for the New 52 briefly.
Not briefly, David Kane.
Oh, David Kane came back.
That's his father. And then Beach, I think the last book he did was the Batgirl indie series.
Okay.
And I know currently there is Batgirl ongoing right now, and thank you for DC for giving her another one. It's decent so far.
But back to this. Written by Al Ewing, art and cover by Johnny. Is that Janoy or Johnny?
Janoi.
Thank you. Janoy Lindsay. Variants by Juliet Nikea, Alex Ekman Lawn, TK, and TK. $4.99 for 32 pages. Okay, so the current market is $5 minimum.
Which, why? I thought basically with the tariffs, basically we might get this lowered, but nope.
And another variant of Hal becoming Parallax. Almost makes you think this is a Hal Jordan comic.
Yeah, and the way that looks, it looks like he's infected with a symbiote, like a Venom symbiote with that.
Joe and Hal hatch a plan to strike back at Abin Sur and free Evergreen. But it is their understanding of Abin Sur and his plans of Evergreen correct? Or will they create an even bigger disaster in the process?
Interesting to make Abin Sur a villain, despite the fact in the original continuity he actually was a good guy.
And this is Absolute Martian Manhunter, which has a unique art style. I'm not going to fault it. A very unique.
I heard this is Dennis Camp's best comic out right now.
Oh, definitely. Hands down.
Because I've heard a lot of the dark work he's written has not been well received. But this book been well received.
Art and cover by Hobby. Oh, go ahead.
That's what I've heard anyways. Like the fact Francis Ford Coppola did some very cover for this book because give the guy more work. The guy's a really good artist. I wish DC went on their book again. But like I think like the last book I think if he worked on for DC that I could think of, I think he did a backup story for I think it was Brave and the Bold, but that's been it. Because like does DC not trust the guy? I don't get it with him.
Your guess is as good as mine on that one, Nick.
Yeah.
But Absolute Martian Manhunter, issue number 5. Written by Dennis Camp. Art and cover by Javier Rodriguez. Variants by Francesco Francavilla, Lee Garbett, and Riley Rossmo. Oh God, Riley Rossmo.
Well, he's only put out one bad comic. That was Tim Drake Robin. Everything else he's done has been really good.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna fault the guy's art too much, especially for something zany as what Absolute Martian Manhunter is going for. Don't get me wrong, but that run with Fitzmartin, that was such a mismatch.
Yes, and he left after the first 6 issues to get replaced with a different artist.
Which didn't even improve the book by that much.
I think DC pulled from the book because people were
It
just
was
hating the book so much, and I guess some people at DC Comics feel as though, oh crap, we made a mistake. Get Riley off the book. Get him on a different book. And the better book you put him on, Wesley on Sandman. Much better book.
way better.
It fits his art style a lot better. At least in John Wesley John's like a woman. Like he did with Tim Drake. Who the heck thought that was a good idea to do?
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Sandman book ended up a bit of an improvement, but Fitzmartin, I,
And here's
I
the
get
thing. I think she's featured like one of her comics since the book got canceled. But I think a lot of people are probably telling DC Comics, please, for the love of God, do not get this woman another book in. Because the book was awful.
and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but did Tim Connor and Impulse had a bromance and were the original and were the founding trio of the Peter David's Young Justice?
Yes.
Outside of a very lowbrow joke in Graduation Day, it is never outright stated that Tim had a man crush on Connor.
Nope.
It is never explicitly stated. Now, there was a lowbrow gag in Graduation Day. I believe the second issue of that event, of that
We're
crossover.
like the one that's so changing the closet.
Yes, and yeah, it was lowbrow. It was a
Yeah.
it was a lowbrow gag, and the writer thought it would be funny. Yes,
The writer was Joe Winnick.
but yes, other than Tim trying to go out of his way to resplice Connor post Infinite Crisis, there was nothing explicitly stating that Tim had a man crush on Connor. At least nothing that I've read, but again, I could be wrong.
And the character Bernard, who basically became the boyfriend, it's like you read original appearances, there's
He was a
nothing
ladies' man.
there. Yeah, he was ladies' man. There was nothing there to being gay. Nothing. As a matter of fact, I don't think that there's ever a gay character in the original Robin ongoing. Everyone was straight. Surprisingly. And, like, yes, Bernard did make a brief cameo in Chip Zdarsky's Batman, but that was last time I saw him. Because I think Chip must have featured him there for a quick cameo. Just remind people he kind of does exist just now. Yeah, he's there. Moving on.
I don't even think they officially broke up. I mean, I haven't seen no resolution with that after Fitzmartin's run ended.
I hope at some point somebody just writes a comic and says Tim being gay or at least being bi never happened.
And say what you will, okay, anyone can have a statute or changing of preference type story if executed well or set up organically. I'm not going to just outright refute that because everyone has a perspective, everyone has a story. Just try to tell it organically and with taste. That's the only thing I really ask for.
Yes.
But for Tim Drake specifically, there was no setup for that. It was, and what little you did get was in an anthology series where Tim reunited with Bernard, and after what was and if you factor everything going on with DC editorial at the time, it was just Tim rebounding from his spat with Steph, and Bernard just happened to be in town at the time.
Yep.
So at best, it's as Cameron says, "quote unquote" pandering, for lack of a better term. At best, it's pandering, and at worst, it's an editorial mandated rebound.
Yes. And here's my thing on it. I do not acknowledge Tim Drake being bi because it's stupid. It is completely had no build. It had no reason to be there. It was something that was not needed for Tim Drake at all. If you want Tim Drake to do a new direction, fine. Don't change the sexuality like that. That was so stupid. Like, this was a really dumb idea. Yes,
Now,
I know about the Iceman thing, and I know Bendis himself probably sees flack for it because he's the one who wrote it. But I don't think that was initially his idea. I don't know if it was his idea or not. I don't know. I've never asked him.
based on what I've researched, that was something that was forced on him by editorial. But even then, he didn't have to write in a way that, oh, Jean Grey gets annoyed, DH Jean Grey gets annoyed, prods Bobby's mind, and oh, you're LGBT and you're trying to overcompensate and you're trying to repress it. Like, you're not fooling anyone. Like, say first of all, you don't just oust somebody like that. And second of all, you did it in the most invasive way possible.
By reading his mind. Yep, and for some reason, the teenage ones are canon. Based on their time travel stuff, because it was brought up the fact that Scott Summers is still considered a member of the champion, despite the fact he's an adult.
Wait, I thought that was a time displaced Scott. Did they just de-age him or?
No, they integrated the memories in the main timeline.
Oh, okay. So they pulled a Superman Reborn. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's basically what they did with the five. But here's the weird thing. Out of the founding members of the X-Men, Jean Grey has got her own solo book. Scott and Beast are, well, the original Beast is dead. And the one in X-Men Comics now is a clone. With memories as far back as New Defenders. Iceman is barely appearing in comics nowadays. Angel is featured over in X Factor as the leader. This like Havoc is also leader too. Xavier is off in space and not in the X-Books anymore.
Probably with synergy to X-Men 97.
Yes. Though they did reveal the reason why he's acting weird. It's been implied the reason for all the stuff related to him the last several years is the reason why he's acting the way he has. Brain tumor. I'm like, really? A freaking brain tumor. That's what caused him to form Krakoa? A brain tumor.
And Krakoa as a concept had potential, but the moment Hickman left the book,
yeah, and plus also you read the main book by Hickman, it was actually a pretty decent book. It didn't have a bad issue. Duggan, on the other hand, it's like every other story was either good or just okay. The fall stuff was good. I like the fall stuff. His Iron Man was interesting. I like his Iron Man work.
But back to this. An attack on Middleton power stations. A city-wide blackout. As night falls, dark sides are unleashed. It's John Jones and the Martian against a city full of psychopaths and the one behind it all.
It's almost like they're playing John Jones, Martian are two set people. That's what it seems like to me. Is that Wally with Beast Boy?
Or either that or a random monkey, but I do appreciate the monitor motif. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, it looks like he's running from a volcano.
Absolute Flash, issue number 5. Better than the mainline Flash book, at least. At least you can actually understand what's going on.
Because the artwork in that book was confusing. The mainline book.
Written by Jeff Lemire, art by Al Kaplan, cover by Nick Robes, variants by Hanning, Clayton Crane, and Nimit Malavia. And of course, the main market price is $5 for 32 pages. All right, decent visuals on the variant.
Do you notice though that his costume in the book reminds you of his costume he had when he was on Dan Abbott's Titans?
It does, doesn't it?
Even in the comics, he doesn't wear the costume anymore. He basically is going back to his pre-Flashpoint one.
Wally's going to need to learn to handle the heat as he faces the monstrous heat wave. Can he evade his fiery grasp, or will the young speedster be burnt to a crisp? Wait, this is Heat Wave?
That lava thing is Heat Wave?
Huh. How about that?
Yeah, being odds on Monday was interesting.
And
Oh,
we just read the solicit for this one, Superman Treasury 2025. This is a re-release.
let's see how much this one costs. It's probably $10.
15.
Not bad for 80 pages. I think it's not bad.
15 for 80. And a black sketch and a movie variant.
All right. I still have the cover of this thing. Let's see.
Yeah, we already read this one.
Yep. Let's. We can check and see what the price is for this thing.
Oh, sure.
11/3. That one I saw was $14.99. That one.
Okay, sorry, I'm probably laggy on my end. Superman Unlimited #3, Dan Slott, art and cover by Raphael Albuquerque.
I think we discussed whether it gives us more Summer of Superman. Let's just look at the prices. $4.99. Okay. Superman.
I want to say this one was crypto. Oh no, Tower Toy Man. Okay. All right, and Superman issue 28, written by Joshua Williamson. Joshua Williams. Say what you will about Joshua Williamson. He did help with Damian Wayne Robin, even if that run had a lot of retreading. But his Superman run is just fantastic.
I like his Damian Wayne stuff he did because that was a love with Chuck Dixon.
It was my only biggest gripe okay, a lot of that was 5G and editorial stuff, so I'm not really gonna fault Williamson for that, and not even Dark Crisis, because Dark Crisis, that was just a mess. There was no way Williamson was gonna pull that off unless he had a couple more months to fully map everything out. But yeah, the one thing I would say about the Robin run is that the art made Damian look too much like Tim. That is literally the one bad thing I could say about that run.
Yes, and it was Williamson's idea to change the costume because he was not a fan of the Rebirth costume he had. The current costume he had, that was all Williamson. He didn't design the costume, but he was very open to change the costume. That's what he told me about it. And I did tell him this. He did feature a lot of character Chuck Dixon created in that book. The only character who featured in that tournament who was not technically created Chuck Dixon, aside from Flatline, was Connor Hawk.
Yes, he was created by somebody else.
Kelly Puvik. I told him this, and he was a bit surprised. And here's the weird thing about him. He is actually a comic writer who remembers me.
Huh.
I guess it made a big impression on him. I think he's one of two I can think of who actually remembers me. The other being Peter D. Tomasi. No one else does. I get fixed on you, but I guess I made a big impression on Williams because I'm not that much younger. I'm a little bit younger than he is. I think he's like 41, 42. I think he is, Williamson. But he is such a cool guy to listen to on the All-Star podcast for Comic Crop. He's that cool. You could definitely tell he's a big comic fan. He basically sounds like he writes the same style Chuck Dixon does, where he basically plots a lot of these issues months in advance. I think he mentioned. At one point he had about a year's worth of story done in a couple months for like one. I think with this book here. Here's more crypto. Oh, that must be Satan Girl.
What you would think is just a present day Saturn Girl, at least, especially with this costume.
Yes, except Saturn Girl basically had a little pink in her costume. That looks like I think that's Lana Lang.
Yeah, that's Lana. She is supposed to get married to John Irons.
Actually, they actually did get married in this summer special. They got married.
Okay, thank you.
Which this relationship was perfectly fine. Oh my gosh! Okay, so I see Satan Girl. I guess these are evil versions of Lightning Lad and Cosmic Boy.
Yes, from Darkseid's Legion, from the Absolute.
Yeah, because I think he corrupted the lead superheroes.
He did.
Which I'm sure Superman's going to find a way to uncorrupt them because it makes sense that he would want to do it because he's known for a long time.
Since the start of All In, Darkseid's Legion has stalked the DC universe, and now they finally attack Superman. What is this Legion's deadly mission, and how does it kick off the next phase of All In? Don't miss out on this crucial issue that sets up a massive event for Superman and the DC Universe.
And I don't think it's Superman. It must be something else. Oh, this is the Tom King Wonder Woman book because I can tell with the costume is Tom King's Wonder Woman.
And before we move,
it must be Trinity's baby.
yep. And before we move forward, I feel like we need to address this. Okay, I have nothing against Trinity as a concept, and her backup stories largely is just a revamp of Super Sons or to build up that Super Sons audience, given everything that was going on with editorial at the time. Outside of that, we don't know about the Flash Future. The Flash Future will never take place in main continuity anyway. That's the whole point of Flash Future. Is there a gimmick to get you hooked to see what happens next, or it leads you to point A to point B? But outside of but we all knew but with all that being said, we all knew the Sovereign arc was going to be bad, or at the very least lackluster. Even I have to.
I think it's only done.
Yeah, it's over now. But I'm not going to lambast an entire comic book run for one bad arc.
It went on too long, is what it did.
That's what you think, Nick?
Yeah, it went too long.
Fair enough.
And he was a boring villain. He was boring. Plain and simple.
Wonder Woman issue number 23, written by Tom King, Daniel Semper. But even with all that being said and whatever other people have said about Tom King's run, the art is fantastic. So say what you will.
Mm-hmm.
But the art is fantastic.
Yeah, he always works with really good artists. He's never had a book that has had terrible artwork.
After the thrilling conclusion of Diana's fight against the Sovereign, she discovers the battle for peace has only just begun. The rogue Amazon, Emily, has fled to a mysterious island overrun by mice and a tyrant most foul. Can Wonder Woman save her fallen sister and baby before they fall into the wrong hands? Only Mouse Man knows.
Mouse Man? Oh my gosh, is that Dick Grayson with Trinity?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's Jason.
Yeah.
Trinity. Daughter of Wonder Woman, issue number 2. You can have this one, Nick.
So this is a spinoff. I don't think it's a Reaper. I think it's an actual series. With a dog, I think the dog is. It's not Ace the Bat Hound. Too small of Ace. Must be a cat.
Hold on. Let me, do they do the motif where Damian Wayne gets turned into an animal again?
That already happened. That happened happened with Beast World, but hasn't happened again since then.
Okay.
Let's see. It's Tom King book. No surprise. And it's a miniseries. Okay, that's perfectly fine. And there's a reasonable price for a miniseries. $3.99 for 13 pages. That's more reasonable than 4. I guess DC felt as though it's a miniseries. Make it $3.99.
Oh, holy AI. Ugh.
Good gosh, that artwork looks horrible.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, that looks horrible.
Was someone on a time crunch and just crammed an AI and just submitted an AI prompt? Jesus.
I hope basically people see this cover and like, no, thank you. Get rid of this comic. It's off. This cover is awful. I hope no comics are picks up this cover because I'm sure that I think somebody should send this out to all comic shops. Comic shop. You can buy variant covers for this series. Please, do not buy this cover. It's awful.
Oh,
I know comic stores probably are not that stupid to buy this cover. Because, yes, to buy variant covers for all this series, fine. Do not get this one.
No, it is atrocious.
Yeah. So, everybody, send word to comic stores. If they can buy a variant cover for this book, that is a cover right there. Tell them, do not have them buy the AI one. Show this to your comic shop and tell them, do not buy this one. It's awful.
With the
And
time
they'll probably agree.
with the time stream broken and doggos on the loose, the teenage Trinity, aka Wonder Girl, travels to the Gotham of the past to capture the elusive Bat Corgi. There, she'll encounter the greatest Robin of them all, according to him, Jason Todd. Will the boy and girl wonders be able to put their differences aside and find the pup before it's too late? Okay, now I see what happened. Okay, this is splintering from 3 points in time and little girl and a reconsolidate a spinoff from the backup titles. And
Go
this
after corgis.
yeah, this is the one I believe in the backup of issue 3 or 4 where Damien and John get turned into dogs. And this is where where teenage Trinity gets time displaced. So
As
that
in dogs owned by the British royal family.
yes, Damien and John get turned to corgis. Damien runs away, and then Trinity has to team up with Jason Todd's Robin to find him. That's
Yeah,
pretty much.
you're right. That is Jason Todd.
Yeah, you could tell by the streak in his hair. You can tell by the angst. I mean, look at this. This screams Jason Todd.
Oh, here's a little fun fact you might not know about Jason. Did you know he was not originally raven haired?
No, he was a redhead.
Yeah, it was Doug Moak who dyed his hair blonde, who dyed his hair black. Because people think that because he used to come by Jerry Conway, thinking he's the one who turned Robin. Nope, that was not him. That was Doug. Doug basically can take the blame for that.
All right, Supergirl. I think Supergirl we already read. Yep, Supergirl issue number
Yeah.
3 with Sophie Campbell, $3.99. Wait, this
That-
one's
that-
$3.99.
Yeah, that's interesting. The
Yeah.
main line books are 4. I
Yeah.
love. Yeah, that's Agram. I can tell with the art. That's actually I really enjoyed the guy's artwork. It's really good. Oh look, it's Streaky the cat. If I ever I think the cat is one of Supergirl's one of 2 pets she has. The other is a freaking horse. Who's never has been in years. I think last time here was I think Peter Dave wrote the comic back in the 90s. This is
Wait,
Crypto.
is this the same one with Comet?
No, this is Crypto.
No, I'm talking about Supergirl's horse.
Yeah, that's Comet.
Okay, thought so. And Last Dog of Krypton, we already read that in the Summer of Superman article. Oh wait, let me look at the price. Huh? It's $3.99.
Interesting. I would think a proper character he is. I think DC probably wouldn't charge that much. Oh, interesting cover.
Justice League versus Godzilla versus King Kong 2, issue number 2.
It looks like you have Giganta and Killer Croc fight alongside Wonder Woman. I'm like, this looks awesome. Oh, and get this, Chuck Dixon, when you hear about this, like he's like, this is what I'm talking about. DC should do more of these. Because he was actually very happy to hear that DC did the first one.
Written by Brian Buccellato, who did take over for the Injustice tie-in comics for issue 4 onward. Wait, did he take over in year 4 or did he take over in year 3?
3.
Okay, year 3 onward. Okay, thank you. He did a decent job, but
Taylor came back for year 5.
Tom Taylor came back for year 5. Okay. He did decent with what he was given. I'm not going to take that away from Buccellato. He did decent with what he was given.
He had a higher body count than Tom Taylor did. Oh gosh, he killed a lot of people in his run.
Art and cover by Christian. I'm not even going to try to say that out loud. Thank you. Variants by Yasmin Putri, Alan Qua, Steven Segovia, and Lucas Meyer and Kevin McGuire. $3.99. Okay, so Elseworlds and miniseries get $3.99, but mainline is $4.99.
That makes no sense. Oh my gosh, that looks so awesome.
We got Captain Boomerang, Harley Quinn, Peacemaker, Captain Cold, and I want to say that's freaking Omen as Kong versus. That's not Godzilla. That's I forget what that one. Hello. Hello. Nick, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I have no idea what that was about.
Yeah, yeah. I had to switch because it was getting kind of late in my end. That guy looks like it has Giganta, uh, the Enchantress, King Shark, Peacemaker, Cheetah.
And
Might be the versus. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's more. It looks like Suicide Squad.
probably.
Hmm.
And okay, Giganta.
Oh, that is so fun. You have you have Giganta fighting Godzilla. That's fun.
In the aftermath of the shocking ending of the last issue, the Task Force X must reevaluate their mission in Hollow Earth as they explore an unknown world. Meanwhile, the Justice League comes face to face again with Kong, but it's not the reunion they're expecting.
Oh, and having Killer Croc basically take a picture of Harley in front of the. That's funny. Just like 11 number 9. Interesting cover.
I'm not going to do the song. I don't want us to get copyrighted.
Yeah, I see Superman. I think it's the Atom
Yep, that is the Atom. I think was Atom Project a miniseries or was it an ongoing?
mini.
Okay, thank you. All right, Justice League issue JLU number 9, written by Mark Waid, art by and cover by Dan Mora, variants by Felipe Mazavera, Tagio de Silva, Travis Moore, and Nimit Malavia, and Derek Chu. $3.99. Hey, the Forager's making an appearance.
It's been a while since we last seen him.
It has.
I think the last time he appeared was Dark Knight's Metal.
Yeah, the second one. The second one, the lead up to Death Metal.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is a part of the time traveling crossover with Gorilla Grodd.
And who was the one with chains?
That's the Time Trapper.
Oh. Which for some reason Williamson decided to have Time Trapper be Doomsday for some weird reason.
Which Doomsday being the host of Time Trapper, like, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Doomsday is very adaptable. He cannot be unalived by conventional means.
Mm-hmm.
But the point that Doomsday would gain intelligence to where he could become the Time Trapper, for all intents and purposes, Doomsday is supposed to be an unstoppable force that Clark has to constantly contend with. Like the whole unstoppable force meets an unmovable object. That's the whole point and motif of Doomsday. The moment you make him intelligent enough to where he can wield time powers akin to Time Trapper, that's where you lose the plot, in my opinion, because you have to literally unravel the character from the ground up, just so he doesn't regress back to being a dumb brute.
And people forget Time Trapper is a Legion of Superheroes villain.
Wait,
love that cover.
Why is Barry in this variant, even though he's officially retired? Did he get his powers back in the mainline comic, and I just haven't just read that far yet?
I think he kind of has the com powers. I don't remember, but this feels like a movie poster style cover.
It does, doesn't it?
It's not Alex Ross. I can't tell who does this art, but it looks really good. That looks like Dan Moria.
Yeah, this is Dan Mora. Okay, and this is just JLU. It's just the entire hero community under one banner, under one team. It's basically trying to copy Hickman. Hickman got away with it because his run with Avengers and X-Men, it was largely anthology for the most part.
Mm-hmm. But it was good. I love Avengers work. A lot of people didn't like his run for some reason for Avengers. They thought
it's overhated. It does have its controversy, but it does have good moments too. I agree. Hickman's Avengers is a little overhated.
And here's the thing. It's not a terrible run. I actually enjoyed the run. I don't get the hate for that run. Just it's simple to hate Jason Aaron got for his Avengers run.
Say what you will, what editorial was doing at the time, but in a vacuum, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed Jason Aaron's time on Avengers. It was fun, and plus, one thing nice about it, we got a new Moon Knight book out of it because it was an arc that was back to the Moon Knight book. Oh my gosh, there's a Joker merging with Martian Manhunter?
and a Gotham City Sirens variant for some
I've heard to
reason.
do another Gotham City Sirens book. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, it was the first one wasn't good. I understand the notoriety of having Selena, Ivy, and Harley together. I get it from a business or marketing standpoint, but the last book just wasn't that good.
And plus, this is something that I call bullcrap and DC Comics for. It's like this is the first comic to feature Harley and Punchline since Joker War. Because for some weird reason, Teeny Howard dubbed Punchline Catwoman instead of putting in Harley, even though she's aiming for Harley, not Catwoman. Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
And the thing is, all three of these ladies have got really good solo titles right now.
Yeah, say what I'd say the weakest of the three is Catwoman because she's still because her book is still picking back up from Teeny Howard's run.
Well,
But other
they have a really good writer in the book right now.
yeah, it's definitely they're definitely in better places than where they were in their previous creative teams. Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong.
yeah, and Harley. By the way, Stephanie Phillips, she actually approves of Torrin Garg on Catwoman.
Hmm.
Yes. As for this new writer on Harley Quinn, I have no idea this person. Prior to her doing Catwoman, Harley, I never heard before. Have you?
No, I have not. In the aftermath of the devastating events of We Are Yesterday, the Justice League is reeling from the Legion of Doom's wrathful rampage. With no time to rest for the protectors of our planet, as the secrets unlocked during their time-crossed duel have brought our heroes face to face with a mysterious quantum quorum, who has reasons to fear that all creation might soon come to an end. It's the next big step on the path to the All-In saga, and the epic epilogue to We Are Yesterday.
At least got praise all in for this. Looks like seems like a very planned out stuff with it. Like basically they're playing everything out really well. That's what it seems like full of thought. Justice League Dark Tomorrow special. Interesting. And Guggenheim was ready with Wade? That is interesting.
Yes, it is.
As far as I could tell, I think this is the first of these two ever worked together in a comic that I could think of.
And definitely an upcharge on this one, $5.99 for 48 pages.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Art by Sion Tormey, variants by Jorge Fornes, Nathan Zertsty, Fernando Blanco, and Mark Buckingham. And the variants about the same price.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just more set up for All In and the for All In and in Dark Legion.
Maybe this is something. It looks like Boost to Go might be in this book. So my Boost to Go book.
Yep,
Because Booster's not been seen since All In.
he has not.
And weird enough, you don't have Jurgens in this book.
Yep. In the wake of the We Are Yesterday crossover epic, a mysterious quantum quorum has emerged, stalked by a lethal enemy that takes no prisoners. The League deputizes a group of time-displaced heroes like Batman Beyond, Gold Beetle, and Helena Wayne to fill the void left behind by the Time Masters and save the quorum from the mysterious threat that's picking up time travelers one by one. These legends of tomorrow are the only ones standing in the way of this cascading chronal Armageddon, with the past, present, and future tethering on the brink of this oversized special leading to the next DC All-In event.
And here's more Superman. We discussed this one already.
Yep. We'll just go. The art is The art is great though.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're getting Green Lantern. Green Lantern issue number 25.
I'm trying.
Yep. You
I
know
don't
what?
know who is that?
For a second, I actually thought this was the Cuckold Lantern from the Green Lantern book. Because if it's him, this is an improvement to that design. But I know it's not him. You know who I'm talking about, Nick?
I think I do.
The Sorrow Lantern.
Oh,
But I know it's not him. I know it's not him. But Jimmy Adams' Green Lantern run is fantastic. You got to give him that, though.
And when I met him at Comic Con, he wasn't happy leaving the Flash at all. He enjoyed it. Not only the fans were not happy he left the book, he was not happy either. So mutual. He felt the same way fans did. And begs the question, why did DC take him off Flash?
It was forced by editorial mandate.
Yeah. At least this book, you got to praise this book for this. It's probably selling a lot better than the last one for Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially that one with that one leading into Future State. Not War Journal. It was before that.
It
The
was
Rip.
the Jeffrey Thorne book.
Thank you.
The one where they didn't even feature Hal at all in the book. Like in 12 issues, I think he's featured twice in cameos. Book focuses on Teen Lantern, Frontier Lantern, I think even John Stewart.
Art by Art by Sermancio and V. Kevin Marion. Variants by Carlos de Anda, Salvador La Roca, and Davide Paratore, and Chris Capana. And a glow in the dark foil variant by Stefan Subic.
Okay,
Five
I agree with that. 40 pages. Fine, it's a bit steep, but that's pretty reasonable.
and
At
these
least it's
variants.
not. Do you want to know how much the Green Lantern final issue that Jeff Johns said? How much that one was?
How much?
That was like $8.99. That book,
But hey,
and it
that
was
was
double sized.
a double-sized finale to a glorious run.
Yes, Jeff Johns, the New York Green Lantern, he run him be awesome.
The
Oh,
Green
it's from
Lantern. Okay, the Green Lantern Corps makes a mad dash to Gem World, hoping to find a particular gem that will light the new central power batteries. But it has to beat Starbreaker and his minions to do it. All while Ellie uncovers a secret buried inside Kelly's mind, and an old friend returns to Oa.
it's the Frontier Lantern.
Green Lantern Corps issue number 6, written by Jeremy Adams and Morgan Hampton. Art by Amake Nafalpan. Cover by Fernando Parison and Alclar Albert. Variants by Edwin Galman and Ryan Gonzalez. And 1.1 by 25 variant by Nachacha Bustos. $3.99 for 32 pages. That is a steal.
Yeah,
And a Jessica Cruz focus book.
yeah. With Joe,
Nick, you got this one?
Sinestro and Vassar's journey to Krager to find the Sinister Sons help reshape their society, all while John and Ellie complete Kel's odd behavior. Jessica Drews and Joe Mellon find Mogo in a predominant volcanic state on the edge of destruction. Okay, that'll grab people's attention. This must be Flash. What
Yep.
the heck is up with the costume?
Yeah, Wally's had this costume since All In began.
It looks weird.
The
I mean,
Flash,
the
Bad
black
Mood
looks so
Rising.
weird on him, doesn't it?
I feel like they wanted to give him a distinct look to help tell him apart from Barry, but sprinkle a little DCAU nostalgia.
Hmm.
Written by Alec. This is a one shot leading to his next big event, Bad Moon Rising.
Didn't Batman have a book called Bad Moon?
I think so.
Yeah. Alex Pindle, the only book I can think of he worked on I've read was Carnage.
Art and cover by Daniel Bayliss. $5.99 for 48 pages. That's fair.
Yep.
Bad Mood Rising rages on as the focus turns to the Rogues' role as Eclipso's generals into a new surprising ally. Oh, what? So now we're doing the four horsemen of Eclipso now.
It looks like it's comprised of looks like Captain Cold. It looks like Hobgoblin and one other character. I'm not sure who these other two are. But the one on top looks like Captain Cold.
And Barry's death. Like one's famine, one's entropy, and Wally is dead. Oh, I gotta use that. The four horsemen of Eclipso. I gotta use that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Flash issue number 23, still written by Simon Spurr, art by Vasco Georgiev, cover by Davide Paratore, variants by Serge Acuna and Travis Mercer. $3.99 for 32 pages. I am not a fan of this variant, not gonna lie. This
Is it
one,
just me, or is that previous variant? His bracelet he has on his wrist. It kind of reminds you of the Nika bands from Marvel Comics, right?
it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, not this one, the previous one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go up.
That one. Does it remind you of the Captain Marvel Nika band?
It does, doesn't it?
I don't think that was on purpose. And what is up with the thing on the back of his hand? You see that?
Huh? Yeah, I'm just now noticing that too.
It's like he's got his own version of Wolverine's claws.
Well, at least it's not an AI prompt.
Yeah. This one's not bad.
Bad Mood Rising, issue number 4. As the war rages on the moon, Jay West and one of the temp flashes enter Eclipso's new form in an attempt to stop the total blackout of the sun. Also, Wally's glitching issues have returned, but this time they may hold the key to turning the tide of the battle. Aquaman, his first solo book since the Aquaman miniseries.
I believe Jeremy Adams with this one too.
Aquaman issue number 7, written by Jeremy Adams, art by John Timms, and cover by Gleb Melnikov. Gleb Melnikov's run carried the Robin run. Say what you will with all the throwbacks to Peter Davids with Tim Drake's Robin, but Gleb Melnikov has solid art.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Also, I think this is one of 3 comics that Jeremy Adams is working right now for DC.
Green Lantern Corps is a spin-off comic, and Aquaman.
That's it.
That's it.
3 ongoings. And they're all, and well, this book is good.
Oh, excuse me. Written by Jeremy Adams, art by John Timms. All right, I already read that. Variant by Edwin Gallman and lyrics, and 1/25 by Oscar Yildirim. $3.99 for 32 pages.
Ooh, love that cover. That looks awesome.
Cool.
With the water train. Ooh.
Yeah.
Aquaman with his sexy wife.
Well,
Arthur,
at least,
you lucky bastard.
well, at least she's not hurting the 7 seas.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That costume. Isn't that the Jim Lee New 52 costume he's wearing?
It is.
I'm like, why in the world was Very Earth put him in that costume? Mirror, I can't really tell what costume. I think that's a new costume for her.
Black does not work on Wally, in my opinion. Just keep him in his rebirth suit.
I wasn't really a big fan of that suit. I like the suit. I like the suit he had when Jeremy Adams basically wrote the book.
I'm sorry, but isn't the rebirth suit just an inverse of the Future Flash costume from the 90s?
Yes, except it shows his red hair.
All right, Nick, you want to read this one?
The confrontation with Dagon looms as Aquaman and his band of fighters near the end of the quest, revealing a heartbreaking reality that will change Aquaman forever. I'm glad these installations are kept short and sweet.
I agree. New Gods, issue number 8.
I'm trying to see who's on the cover. I see Orion. Is that Barda?
Yes, that's Barda. That's Scott. Hi, Father. I don't know who this is, and I know that's Barda and Scott's baby,
Jacob.
Jacob.
Which, fun fact, name after the creator of New Gods, Jack Kirby.
Hmm. Written by Ram V, art by Evan Cagle, cover by Nemeth Malavia, variants by Javier Jimenez. I mean Javier Rodriguez, excuse me. Javier Rodriguez and Tom Fowler. $3.99 for 32 pages.
I gotta admit, basically, reading this book is actually really good under MV. What do you think?
I have not read New God, so I don't have an opinion on it one way or the other.
He did tell me he was going to keep the style of Jack Kirby, and he has.
Well, at least he honored that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Plus, you gotta love that big Barticos. It looks amazing.
As the former residents of New Genesis attempt to find their footing as Earth's newest inhabitants, the Justice League remains split concerning whether it should allow the new gods permanent residence. But this debate is cut short when the Apocalyptians make their appearance on Earth, joined by Maxwell Lord and his near infinite resources, in search of the newest new god and potentially world-shattering power he holds within.
Interesting, he's working with New Gods. Oh my gosh, it's Green Arrow.
I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan of his new costume.
Yeah, it looks weird. I like Chris Candon.
Don't get me wrong, I don't mind the Robin Hood aesthetic, don't get me wrong. But why is he wearing a cape?
Yeah, that is weird. And what's up with that bow? Bow's huge.
Written by Chris Condon, art by Montos, cover by Torrin Clark, and variant by Lyrics.
Oh, you will work really well in the Green Arrow comic, and they've not introduced this at all. In Arrow, Oliver had a credit card style bow, and he used it a lot in the show. Never broke. I'm surprised the comic has ever utilized that.
Hmm.
It's like this. It's like this similar Iron Man opens up and like, poof, there's the bow. The bows just are just there.
Shocked by the mysterious and nefarious attack on Arsenal, Green Arrow enlists the help of Detective Benitez to uncover clues as to who Star City's most dangerous and cold-blooded new archer is. Meanwhile, Leanne rejoins the fray and discovers hard truths and dark secrets about her father's past as Green Arrow's once-upon-a-time sidekick Speed.
Maybe she'll find out about his heroin addiction.
Zatanna issue number 6, which is the last issue of her miniseries.
It's good. It's a really good book.
It's good. The only time you'll ever see Zatanna in anything ongoing is either a Constantine book or as part of an ensemble in a Justice League Dark title.
She's had it on before. Back in 2010. Most written by Paul Dini. It was good. There's a complete collection of it out there. I'll be right back.
I'll keep going. Written by Jamal Campbell. Dialogue and art by Jamal Campbell. Variants by Frank Cho, Homar, and Mark Buckingham. Oh, excuse me. Zatanna returns to the Crimson Palace nightclub for a final performance to save Adam and Blue Devil from themselves. But first, she'll have to go up against not only the Lady White, but her secret ally, one who's been seeking revenge against Zatanna and her family since the very beginning. Could Zatanna's magic be the key to discovering past truths before her time runs out in the present? Don't miss this spellbinding conclusion. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and move on to this next one. JSA issue number 9, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Diego Orlo- Orlotegi. Apologies if I mispronounce that. Cover by Leonardo Romero and Jorge Corona. $3.99. With some of the team reunited, they need to put a plan together to strike back at the Injustice Society. But with a mole hiding amongst them, is our plan already ruined?
Why this book exists because of. Do you think the reason this book exists because of his appearance in the Superman movie?
Possibly, but JSA. I'm sorry. This new creative team with JSA is not as good as Jeff Johns. It's trying, it's doing its best, but one of the huge selling points for JSA was Jeff Johns personally on the book.
Mm-hmm. Because he understood the characters. I wonder if this comic is either a backstory of the movie version of Mr. Terrific or comic.
Who can say?
Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you. Can you take over for this next one for a bit?
Written by Al Leston, artwork by Valentin Delanero, cover by Kerry Rudolph, variant cover by Brazoff, $3.99, 32 pages, 306. So this book is about half of this miniseries. Fair play. Propelled by a new sense of purpose and clear target for his vengeance, Mr. Terrific dons the zero costume, or the closest proclamation he can scrap together from his workshop, for the first time, to lay siege to Athena Prescott's tower at the center of Gateway City. While he's got his sights on Prescott, she's also got his eyes on him too. And the third smartest man in the world might just find that you can't just bring T-Spears to a gunfight and expect to walk out alive. Meanwhile, President Mr. Terrific's surprise encounter with apocalyptic hellhounds lands him in some dimension-hopping hot water. Interesting. Titans. What the heck is up with this cover artwork?
I'm not gonna spoil for what recently came out this week, but if you know what Titans, you know.
But no, 9, this artwork looks bizarre.
Titans issue number 25. Say what you will about the last Titans Tom Taylor's run just being backdropping or trying to backdrop or highlighting Nightwing. Say what you will as set up for Tom Taylor starting his run on that book, but but with John Layman, it's a bit boring. Art and cover by Pete Woods, variants by Carlos Deanda, Afu Chan.
I think we're almost done, Jay Heath, because I think we have like quarter left here, and that looks like a much better cover.
Wait, is that the Arkham design, or is that just me?
For Nightwing?
For Deathstroke, his Arkhamverse design.
It kind of does. But that cover looks a lot better than that first cover. I hope that first cover is a variant because this cover looks a lot better. Killer Frost. Is that Terra?
That is Terra.
Yes. Also in this book, for some weird reason, John Layman decided to turn Killer Frost villain after being hero for the last several years. Because she got over it.
Though a lot of that Killer Frost being a hero was synergy from the Flash shows. Now that the Flash show is no longer active, I think they're trying to get away or segue Killer Frost into being a villain again.
Yeah, and I would also just bring back the Firestorm title.
Crime doesn't pay. Crime doesn't pay. Try telling that to Deathstroke the Terminator, who has spent the last few months gathering members for a brand new crime syndicate with the intention of making the Titans pay with their lives. Terra, Clock King, Killer Frost, and Mammoth are already deadly enough. But old Slade Wilson has a few more dirty tricks up his sleeve, all of them lethal. Who wins? Who loses? And who will be terminated?
Now that sounds interesting. Now that's a good cover. Though for some reason looks like that Cyborg's got shorts.
Titans 2025 annual,
Ooh,
written and drawn by Phil Jimenez.
now that's interesting because I think last time he worked on the anime was back in 2000.
He did.
Yeah, I think he did the annual that introduced one of the international heroes that got killed off in the crisis. But Phil Jimenez doing a Titans annual, that is very interesting. Ooh, love that. That's a really good cover, like showing all Donna Troy's over the years. So let's say I focus on Donna.
Uh, yes, apparently. I want to say that this is the annual.
Yes.
No, history of the DC new history of the DC universe issue
Yes,
number
scroll up. I think
2.
we missed something.
Oh, okay.
There.
Multiple Eisner Award-winning superstar artist and storyteller Phil Jimenez, Wonder Woman Historia, makes his grand return to another fan-favorite Wonder Woman in this oversized annual story. Donna Troy reflects on the many loves and lives that shaped her as she cuts a trail for New York City to meet her estranged father for the very first time. But what awaits her at the end of her journey will shock Donna and the readers alike.
Fun fact, the last time Phil Jimenez ever did a Donna Troy story was the Return of Donna Troy miniseries back in '05, I think it was.
New history of the DC Universe issue number 2.
Interesting people on the cover. Wade's writing this.
Yep. Art by Brad Walker and Mike Allred. Cover by Chris Samney. Variants by Dan Mora, Frank Cho, Ryan Sook, and Carl Krasichel.
And Legacy variant cover by Scott Kubelich. Okay, reasonable price.
All right,
Ooh.
World's Finest. One of the best titles out so far.
Yes. Black Canary. This looks like a solicitation for history, the DC universe. DC universe will begin to take shape as a mysterious ship crashes in Smallville years later. Superman makes his debut. Meanwhile, in Gotham City, Matt emerges from shadows to clean crime-ridden streets. After years, Isolation Man's world, Marlon leads Paradise Island for the Mountain City. New Age Heroes dawns as Barry Allen recounts the formation of Justice League. Okay, seems like a recount of basically DC history. Wade Tillman's interesting. I've heard he's a big fan of the DC Age comics. That's why he's in DC Finest line. So basically, it's recapping DC comics up until Christ of Nurse. The second Fire and Ice book. I think it's got a Hell Freezes over that one. Oh, the Fine Rod.
Another Fire and Ice miniseries.
It's not a terrible idea to get them a miniseries. Joan Stalker is the writer. Stephen Byrne is the artist. Cover by Rachel and Terry Dodson. Variant cover, Jessica Fong. 4 of 6. I quite enjoyed the last one.
Fire and Ice go into hell, and they sure did, in a dog pursuit of a magical artifact that can finally set their body and power swap right. But they'll soon find their hell is delighted by those too willing. Living souls enter into the fiery gates with tests designed to break them down physically, emotionally, and spiritually, waiting on the other side. Meanwhile, a turbocharged Gorilla Grodd lands in Smallville with murder on the mind, but his primary target, Little Sisters, is completely trapped in the The body of very human local bartender Charlie Rhodes. Will Smallville survive its wildest ruckus yet?
Oh, it's Secret Six now.
Okay.
I can tell because it's Dreamers on the cover. So it's Secret Six.
Yep.
Which, in my honest opinion, I asked the question this: why isn't Gail Simone writing this book?
Your guess is as good as me on that one. Secret Six, written by Nicole Maines, art and cover by Steven Segovia. $3.99.
I think we're still getting pretty close to the end here. Oh, here lies Deadshot. Everybody duck. Chetmark has unlocked my lawyer's memories, and now it's access he can start DC. Okay, if only there was Angus team people who hated each other intervene and put a stop walls banned business once and for all. Hold on. Someone's in my ear telling me they're going to this issue and the secret trying to see with Secret Six. Oh damn, there you go. It all comes down to the ultimate issue. The man in my ear says not miss it. Penultimate issue. So it's like one more left and that's it.
Yeah, because I think Secret Six is a. No, it's not a miniseries. They're just ending it after issue 6. But it's not marketed as a miniseries.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, wait, Checkmate unlocked their memories? Why? It makes no sense. I would think Checkmate basically more decent enough to keep the whole thing because she knows all the super secrets. Like I would think Checkmate, government agency, keep secrets, not unlock them. It just makes no sense.
DC vs. Vampires World War V, issue 11, written by Matthew Rosenberg, Cecil Castellucci. Art by Otto Schmidt and Marley Zarcone. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just a little tired, but I know we're almost done here.
Thank you. Art by Otto Schmidt and Marley Zarcone. Cover variants by Ryan Brown and Homer. Penultimate issue. I'm sorry, but the DC versus Vampires, it just didn't hit as well as DC's did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matthew Rose was trying. I haven't read it in a long time, so I don't know. I've not read this book, so I have no opinion on it.
Hey. Who will the new gods side with? Will they ally with the vampires and heroes against Darkseid? Or will they decide that all vampires are a scourge to existence? Their destruction will set the stage for an explosive conclusion that will determine the fate of the planet.
Hopefully, after this is the end of this DC versus vampire stuff.
Okay,
This looks like a Superman comic.
I think so. They're getting the whole super family together, kind of like a little vacation special. DC's California Love, issue number 1. It's a one-shot.
Written by Brian Q. Miller, Brandon Thomas, Joshua Hale Barkov, George Mann, Christoph Bagas, James Reed, Dave Wells, and oh my god, Megan Fritz Martin. Really? Why the heck are you here, girl? Go away.
She's likely gonna have the weakest story in the anthology. She's still,
Yeah.
I think she's still under contract with DC. I don't know if she's freelance.
I thought she got fired.
Honest to God, I thought so too.
Yeah, Brian Q. Miller. Glad he's doing a Superman book because I love his small book that he did, and I know he did Run for Batgirl, which was really good. Brandon Thomas, very mixed on this guy. Joshua Filikov, good writer. It's just that one of his books had really bad artwork. That being Ultimate FF. The other 3, I'm not overly familiar with them. Let's see, how much was this thing? This was one shot. Let's go back up.
$9.99 for 80 pages.
Not bad. It's a one shot, of course. Basically, it charges not much for it. It's like this is all about the summer. Power Girl, Supergirl with shades.
The whole super family is hitting the road in a series of action-packed adventures across the great state of California. Supergirl's day at the beach is interrupted by a demonic creature from the deep and John Constantine. John and Connor Kent team up to wrangle an escaped beast in the redwoods. Bizarro literally crashes an audition for a major motion picture and joins Superman and Lois as a kaiju from the California ocean comes for their family vacation. The summer of Superman is heating up, so slather some sunscreen and snag your latest beach raid in stores this July.
Because what people want to say about John Constantine, he would not attempt to hit on Supergirl because I think he knows Supergirl. If she ever punched him, she would actually kill him.
Hmm. Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma, issue number 4. Written by Ram V, Anad RK, Jeff DeCal, and variants by Mike Perkins. 4 out of 6. Nick, you want to take over this one?
Yeah. At the wheels that Rebirth keeps spinning, Resurrection Man's clock to stop because Synchro starts to run out. Luckily, with the fractured microverse in hand, with help of a new friend with a target on his back, hope seems on the horizon. But with Mitch Shelley, finally be able to defeat the evil looms of the universe, or the real evil found himself. Interesting. Oh, look, it's a Peacemaker cover. Must be a Peacemaker one shot with him wearing a Speedo. Oh. It's Peacemaker Presents the Vigilante / Eggy double feature.
Eagly.
Eagly.
Story
So, by he's probably naked, being covered up. I'm like, yep. This is done for attention.
Story consultant by James Gunn, written by Tim Seeley and Rex Ogle. Diary entry by Freddie Stroma. Art by Mitch Geralds and Matteo Loli. Cover by Mitch Gerards. Variants by David Talaski and Doug Manicky.
This looks like the final issue.
Oh yeah, it's a 5-issue miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn Okay, the synopsis has been about the same. Oh wait, hold on. GC Studios James Gunn steps in as story consultant for the 5 issues of Insane Calamity, when 2 fan favorite characters share the spotlight in equal page count. We start the end of the best news ever. Daddy's home. Peacemaker is back in Evergreen, just in time to see what Adrian has done with the place. The real villains are revealed. Just who is the controller? Why is the story about scented condoms? What? Who okayed this? Meanwhile, nudity, bad language, ultraviolence, and an eagle that kicks all kinds of beep. The book has it all. Plus, we're at the end of the line, folks. This is it. The last story. Can Eagly and his pet Peacemaker survive the long game of an assassin with a bone to pick? I don't know. I haven't read this issue yet, but you should. I'm out of here. I need to go have a snack and watch Real Life Housewives of Beverly Hills. Those ladies are the worst. And by the worst, I mean the best. The final installment of the original GC comic story inspired by James Gunn Visionary Peacemaker series on Max.
Okay.
Justice League X Sonic issue number, I think we're on number 4 now. 5.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is surprisingly good.
I've never heard of the writer Ian Flynn. I've never heard of him.
Art by Adam Bryce Thomas. Cover by Pablo M. Collar. Variant by Lucas Meyer. The Justice League unites with Sonic and his friends as they face down Darkseid for the fate of the 2 worlds. Can the combined might of the united heroes be a match for a god wielding the power of a Chaos Emerald? Don't miss the thrilling finale.
I guess it's the end of the series. Teen Titans Go. Move on.
Issue number 5, written by Amanda DeBert, art and cover by Dario Bruzera. $2.99 for 32 pages.
Yeah, it's mostly stuff related to the TV show.
When Starfire flubs the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner, she responds to everyone's mockery by learning how to be the most American she can be. Her mission: eat hot dogs at a baseball game, go to a monster truck rally, and visit a state fair. The Titans are all in, which is great until she turns out they usually do. They turn until things turn out like they usually do with this team. Will the fairgrounds ever recover? A re-release of Superman issue number 1, a facsimile edition, which is a re-release.
Probably for the movie.
Mad Magazine.
I heard a few years ago, I think it was a few years ago, their longtime artist passed away.
Okay, we
No
are
trades.
officially done.
You guys no trades?
Hold on. Yep. No, not in this article.
Weird. Usually they have trades listed.
Probably a separate one if I could find it. If we have time, I might do a follow up to where we can find any trade paperbacks recollected.
Yeah.
But
But we were going for almost 2 hours now. We probably need to call it.
yeah,
Yep.
I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How was it? Nick, any thoughts on the solicitations?
It looks. It definitely was interesting. Just not a fan of the new costumes that Wally and Oliver have. It just doesn't fit them for some reason. I think Justice League is Unlimited is proven to be one of DC's big books that's it's really good. People should talk about how good this book is, and it is something that Mark Waid has kept his mouth shut on Twitter. People are actually, I guess, people telling DC, please keep your mouth shut because he says the most terrible things. You know, I did hear an interview when he did DC's Finest. At least he was a pleasant guy on there.
Oh, definitely. But I feel like that, although a bit late, the solicitation was a success. And just a quick wrap up before we finish for the night. Hopefully, since it's past midnight, I might as well say today. So later tonight, now that we're on the 18th, we're going to do Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 21 review. Hopefully, Chapter 22 hasn't already released, but if it has, we'll go ahead and do both.
I don't think it's released yet. I haven't seen it pop up in the app yet.
Neither have I. I will check one more time, but more than likely, it'll be just Chapter 21, which was decently good.
Mm-hmm.
But Nick, any final thoughts on your end?
None that I can think of.
And yes, Tevia, I am planning the Tomorrowverse retrospective. I will DM you privately for more details. All right.
I still need to watch those movies.
Oh, and one more thing I need to promote. Overlord, we're going to have a bit of an interlude between JoJo Bizarre Adventure Part 4 with Overlord Sacred Kingdom, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be our next Amazing Blades episode. You all are in for a treat with that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nick, anything you want to promote?
I just got some videos coming later on today discussing live anime and some comic corners.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe. Flame off.